With Grit down, what's up next?
What have we here?
This guy! This is my favorite commanding officer in Advance Wars across all the games. Unfortunately, he's not on our side.
How interesting.
Yeah, the number of stars in the level kind of implies difficulty. I'd probably rate this a little more than 2 stars, honestly, but let's go. Unfortunately, we are still restricted to Andy, but there are bases on this map. A mysterious new foe has appeared at the bay. Time for fight or flight, or both. So not only are we going to be introduced to a new character, we are also going to be introduced to planes, which are some of my favorite units in Advance Wars.
Commander!
Yeah, unidentified but very green looking forces, but these are no Fire Emblem green units. The enemy army that we're fighting here, they're going to be explaining who they are, I think, soon.
Andy! No!
Last resort, huh? Yeah, we're gonna be relying on this base quite a bit. However, we only have one base on this map, and we're dealing with some neutral bases here. There's one up there that our enemy's probably gonna take because they've already got an infantry in range of it. It's not really gonna be a huge threat to us. The main thing to worry about regarding that base is it means that he'll deploy units from it, and it'll make it harder to get a good power score. But if we take this base early, that might serve us well. However, our opponent has a lot of battlecopters deployed already, as well as 2 fighters and a bomber. So, I think I'll explain the enemy next turn. Because I do want to talk about fighters and bombers at this point. So fighters have a ridiculous movement range of 9. They do burn 1 unit of fuel for every space they travel, so their fuel does run down pretty fast. But yeah, they have the best movement in the game, and it's not impeded by terrain. However, the downside of fighters is they're an incredibly situational unit. They can only shoot air units, planes, and copters. However, they one-shot copters just like anti-air and missiles do, and they deal incredibly devastating damage to bombers. Fighter versus fighter is a little evenly matched, and fighters themselves actually have better defense than you might think. They take anti-air fire reasonably well. They only take like about 50% damage from it. Missiles do devastate fighters, though. That's kind of the main niche missiles has versus anti-air, is it's better against planes. But the main thing that fighters are useful for, well, apart from battlecopters, but it's not super cost-effective to counter battlecopters with fighters, because fighters cost 20,000. Bombers. Fighters are mainly a deterrent against bombers. Fighters utterly wreck bombers if they hit them, and bombers cannot fire back against fighters. However, bombers absolutely devastate any ground unit or ship. So, like, foot soldiers just basically die, vehicles, tanks die, ships just explode, subs explode if they can get them before they dive. Bombers are some of the most powerful units in the entire game. They cost 22,000, so they're very expensive. But once you can afford bombers, it's often good to go for them. And the moment that you start seeing your opponent building bombers, what usually happens is then you're forced to build fighters. It kind of becomes an arm race in that regard. But yeah, we only have 1 enemy bomber to deal with, thankfully. I believe on hard mode, there are a lot more bombers on this map. So I'm going to go over the first turn, and then I'll talk about the enemy that we're facing here. Because, yeah, we do have missiles there. We want to make sure that our battlecopter is, like, out of range of them. But, yeah, herein we see a weakness of the missile unit, is the battlecopter can already fly in its minimum range. However, if I do that, the battlecopter is going to get wrecked by fighters later. And I kind of want to make sure the fighters are lured further down towards my own anti-air. I don't want the fighters to be around these seas. In general, like, sea terrain and mountains is good for air units because they can just hang back on the sea and anti-airs can't reach them. that's another reason why, why missiles can be situationally useful. But okay then, this tank is going to pose a real threat to our anti-airs if I leave it alive, so let's smash it. Yeah, these enemy tanks look quite different. But again, I'll talk more about who these are, because we're not supposed to know who these forces are just yet. This missile's a little, this anti-air starts a little further back, so I think I'm actually going to have it move forward first, just so that it gets a little bit more out of its movement. And, yeah. Now, who we're facing really doesn't like anti-air and missiles, so we're gonna just, we're gonna make sure that our troops are covered by these anti-air and missiles as much as possible. Okay, we got some fighters incoming, which is gonna be a bit of a problem. Oh yeah, in terms of strategy on this map, we're probably gonna go for an HQ capture, but we want to make sure that we do that after the fighters are down, because otherwise they're gonna hunt down and slaughter our transport copter. It's still a copter, so it's gonna get basically one-shotted by fighters. Okay, yeah, I think I can probably afford to put the battlecopter on that mountain. I don't want his battlecopter hitting mine first, but if his battlecopter tries to attack my anti-air, it's not going to have a good time. We do have our own copters here. This map is kind of like a mix of pre-deploy and a base map, but in general, this like base is not going to be like massively useful, especially since our income right now isn't great. You see, I'm not really going to need this tank all that much, because there are not a whole lot of units around here, so I think I'll just creep this artillery forward instead, and that tank's going to act as a bit of an escort to these missiles here. Doesn't really matter who goes in this, would you ever... I mean, if we have both mechs in range of transports, we may as well have the mechs start transporting, because, yeah... Mechs generally need transports for maximum efficiency in terms of movement, and here, yeah, keep your transport copter out of range of those battle copters, because, yeah, transport copters generally don't like getting hit by battle copters, however, there are exceptions. And from here, I think I'll just take another infantry. Okay, that is kind of cool. Oh, that bomber is staying where it is. Interesting. Though, I actually see what he did there where it comes to that copter, because oh, actually, no. He's stupid. I can just shoot it with my missiles. Because it's like, if I tried to attack with my copter, it's covered by the missile, so I would lose the copter, but the problem is I'm probably going to lose the copter anyway, thanks to these two fighters. I can shoot them both this turn, but if I do that, that could cause issues. So here's the thing. Because fighters and bombers are so expensive, they give your opponent a lot of power meter when you kill them. And that's not good when we're facing Eagle, the King of the Skies, who joined the Air Force to honor his father's legacy. We never find out who his father was, which is kind of a shame. His air units are naturalists, but he has weak naval units. Oh, wait a minute. He has no naval units on this map, so effectively he has no weaknesses, but only strengths. That's why Andy's a bit weak in this game, because, yeah, on a map like this, Eagle has only pros and no cons. Eagle's air units gain plus 15 to firepower, plus 10 to defense. That is actually kind of significant, and have minus 2 fuel cost per day. This means that his copters can actually remain stationary and stay in the air indefinitely. Nobody else can do that with their copters. His fighters and bombers will eventually crash, though, if they're stationary. But anyway, so that fuel mitigation is better than you might think. But naval units suffer minus 20 to firepower. The problem is naval units are highly situational anyway, so Eagle's doesn't really have a whole lot of weaknesses. So, about that plus 10 to defense, it's more relevant than you might think, because not only does it make his fighters more resilient against anti-air, in fact, I'm actually going to go ahead and shoot the fighters with some anti-air right now, just to kind of prove a point, because I am going to need to weaken these things, and I'll probably end up forcing them to join if I do this. But the plus 10 defense is also useful because it means that Eagle's transport copters cannot get one-shot by battle copters. Normally, a battle copter does 95% damage to a transport copter, which means it's a coin flip as to whether you kill it or not. But in the case of Eagle, it does like around 90%, which even with a maximum luck roll cannot possibly be a one-shot. So yeah, that's something to bear in mind. But also his fighters and bombers hit harder, and battlecopters are cheap and Eagle can easily spam them. Like Eagle's playstyle is often spamming battlecopters in the early game and then going to bombers later on. But what actually makes Eagle really scary is his power, and as you can see, it's already almost full. Lightning Drive. Eagle's non-foot soldier units that have already carried out orders can move again. However, all his units have decreased firepower and defense. So this sounds a little weird at first, because it's going to blunt his offense when he uses it. But he can use it to attack twice with a unit in one turn, to essentially get like one attack at full damage and one attack at half damage, so like 150% total damage, which is still kind of insane. But the real thing about Lightning Drive is you're not meant to use it offensively. How you are supposed to use Lightning Drive is you fly in, attack with all your air units, then use Lightning Drive and pull them back out of anti-air range. Eagle's whole playstyle is actually kind of heavily based on the German Blitzkrieg tactics in World War II. It's literally what Lightning Strike translates as in German. So it's kind of how he plays. He flies in, he bombs the crap out of you, and then he gets out. The AI typically doesn't exploit it to its full extent, but Eagle has a pretty high skill ceiling, and a very good Eagle player is really terrifying. He is legitimately one of the best characters in this game, like, he's generally considered quite broken. But as you can see there, his meter has 5 squares instead of Andy's and Grit's 3. It is in the highest charging category, so it is a slow charging power, but again, because Eagle has so many really expensive units, he's gonna get that power a lot. He's gonna get that power very quickly on this map, and what tends to happen is he uses it, and then this bomber comes in, and then it bombs you when you're not ready for it, and also these battlecopters are gonna be a problem, so okay. Like, here's the thing, I don't want the missiles to get hit by Eagle's battlecopter as well. But like, as much as I really want to shoot that battlecopter down, it's probably going to give Eagle his Lightning Drive if I do. Maybe. If all of these represent 10,000, the battlecopter just barely won't, but also, it's also, if it's like not, if it's like Advance Wars 2 where they each represent 9,000, then the battlecopter will actually give it to him. Anyway. Okay, the missile is not covering the bottom of this battlecopter. It's kind of a weird thing to say. I don't really like the idea of these fighters being lured up there, though, especially with Lightning Drive, because I really want the fighters to die. Like, I sort of want to keep my battlecopter down, like, at least one battlecopter down here, just to sort of, make sure these fighters eventually die so that they clear the way for that. Of course, the bomber has to eventually die, because otherwise, and I also have to get that tank away from the HQ. Actually, no, wait, I don't have to get the tank away from the HQ. If I put the transport copter there, the transport will block the HQ. Anyway, so I'm planning way too far ahead in this case, but okay. The question here is whether I advance with this missile and then just try and shield the missile on all sides, hoping that I am able to get his bomber when it comes in, or if I shoot that battlecopter down now. Because I honestly think I don't really want to do that. If I go here, I will unfortunately have to put a battlecopter there. See, I only have one battlecopter, and I have no way to make more, because Andy doesn't know what an airport is. So yeah, I'm going to try and block off my, my missiles. And just ensure that he has to break through a lot in order to actually... Like, for example, this artillery is kind of useless. in this map. I'm not really going to have much for it to shoot at, so it can probably afford to go, like... It needs to go into a place where it can kind of successfully lure things. So yeah, the artillery is going to be a wall there. The medium tank is, again, not actually super useful right now, except maybe as a battlecopter lure. I also, though, need to make sure that my transport copter is fully bodyguarded, because I really do not, like, if I lose this transport, I'm basically done, because I cannot efficiently get his HQ otherwise. So, the transport copter needs to be, like, protecting that needs to be of paramount importance. Suppose I can put a mech there. Okay, the transport copter can't be hit in there. Unless the battlecopter makes a double move with lightning drive, which he doesn't have right now, so I don't need to worry too much just yet. Okay. I really hope I don't end up regretting this, but I'm gonna get another anti-air. They cost 8,000, a little more than a tank, but usually worth it when you're facing a whole lot of air units like this. And yeah, I'm just trying to make sure that, like, these fighters hopefully don't go anywhere where I can't kill them next turn, because I need the fighters to die. Yeah, I used to, when I first heard Eagle's theme, like, in Advance Wars 2, it was not the theme that I expected from somebody like him. Because, like, I read the manual and saw his... I also like to call these the bubble copters, because they have, like, bubble, cockpits. But, yeah, I read about him in a manual and immediately just really, like, thought he was amazing because he was an air specialist. And I just kind of like the idea of air units. Like, interesting, one of them did go there. Okay. Oh, but I can missile it. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, Eagle is definitely getting lightning drive, but, right. Here's the plan. I sort of want a nice, juicy target for his bomber to attack. I sort of want to entice it to come down, so that I can take care of it. Because all of his units lose defense after he uses lightning drive. And that means that you can really punish him if he uses lightning drive badly. It's kind of, again, a cool risk versus reward element to Eagle, which he kind of lacks in later games. That defense penalty was only in Advance Wars 1, and yeah, it's like I said, it is, again, it's kind of a cool idea, because it means that, Eagle has kind of a high skill ceiling. You need to get the most out of lightning drive, and if you don't use it correctly, your opponent can really punish you for it. Lightning Drive also gives him... It doesn't give him a second move on his infantry, because that would be very broken. We may see something about that later. Hint, hint. If I ever play Dual Strike on this channel. Yes, Dual Strike, you will see the true terrors that is a double move on infantry. Because, yeah, you could theoretically capture your opponent's HQ in a single turn with that. Not that anyone could potentially... Oh, I don't know, team up with Eagle and combine the power of a double move on infantry with a double move on transports. Just saying, it's not like that would ever happen. But... Oh! Okay, dang it, that copter was smart. I did say before that mountains are kind of, that mounters are a copter's friend, because, yeah, my anti-air can't hit that copter because there's a mountain in the way. So that thing is gonna, unfortunately, be flying around and being annoying, and that's really bad for me because I need to keep my transport alive. And if Eagle uses Lightning Drive, which he will... However, what I could do is... I may be able to... do a reverse blocker copter and block my own copter. Just depends on whether I can get something around the other side, and I don't think I can. I actually do think I need to put it here. So if I put it there, then I can put one thing there, one thing here, one thing here, And the bomber can't reach anything just yet, so I don't have to worry about the APC dying and then this thing lightning driving into the copter. Yeah, just kind of considering some things here. Like, the main kind of theme of this mission is once you've weathered the initial onslaught of air units, Eagle doesn't really have much left to threaten you with. And that's kind of like a theme with most of Eagle's missions. He is kind of a glass cannon commander. Oh yeah, so yeah, Eagle's AI is an exception to the normal rules. He does know to use Lightning Drive at the end of his turn after he's moved all of his Okay, that thing is going to be able to shoot my transport, but it will have reduced firepower, so the transport won't die in one shot. I also get Hyper Repair next turn, almost certainly.
For what you've done to Green Earth, I won't hold back. Lightning Drive!
So we now know that this nation is called Green Earth. And yeah, Green Earth is my favorite faction in Advance Wars, just in terms of how cool their units look and the commanders they have. Well, mostly just Eagle. I don't really like any of their other commanders, it's really just Eagle. Okay, even with Lightning Drive, that was way more than I expected. That bomber is smarter than I thought it would be. Oh yes, watch out for those air units! Oh wait, most of them are dead now.
Oh no.
Well, yeah.
No.
Watch out for bombs. Oh, I've got Hyper Repair. Here's the thing, I wonder if I should actually wait until later for Hyper Repair, because I also really do need to lure that bomber, though. I've got a whole ton of anti-air right now, and yeah, as you can see, Eagle's units take a ton of damage, and also even the units that are not buffed by Lightning Drive still have reduced defense, as in the infantry. So yeah, everything becomes a glass cannon with Eagle. I like the way Green Earth infantry look as well. I used to call them the Raincoat Troopers, but can I really get much of anywhere else with my stuff at the moment? Not really, but okay. So my plan now is, because I didn't expect that bomber to be as stationary as it is. Like, in most Let's Plays I've watched of Advance Wars 1, that bomber flies down with the fighters in the initial, like, rush. Oh yeah, I didn't explain why I'm saving Hyper Repair. The reason I'm saving Hyper Repair is that plus 10% extra defense may actually save me when I'm capturing the HQ with the infantry. It'll make the infantry harder to kill and also harder to damage, and like therefore, you know, there's less chance that it could feel really bad about doing this, but this artillery, as I said, is kind of useless in this map, and have I even lost anything yet? I've lost one. Oh yeah, the copter. But yeah, oh well. I'm gonna hold off with this APC right now. I may need it later. Oh, right. Okay, this artillery, this artillery is in fact fully covered by the missile. So if Eagle does try and bomb the artillery, which I trust him to take that bait, the bomber will die, and then that's gonna make things a lot easier. Do have that annoying tank to deal with, and I don't like the fact that my transport copter is damaged and thus will only be able to act as a wall for one turn. But with the fighters out of the way, the transport has a pretty clear shot to the HQ. So yeah, Green Earth is... I could do that, but then the bomber is not gonna, like... I'm just gonna let him have that city. It's not, like, he doesn't have any bases. Well, he has one base. Yeah, he is starting to make units out of that base, but... If we look at status, 13, yeah, I still only need, like, 1 kill. Like, 2 kills is still enough for a perfect power score, and I got way more than that. I'm probably going to run in next turn, but for now I'm gonna hold off a little bit, and I'm gonna do that. Technique inflation. Technique. Here, bomber, bomber, bomber. You know you want to. You know you want to. Come and get the nice, juicy artillery. Oh, okay, went for the anti-air instead.
King Dragon sends his regards.
especially when it's Eagle, because he can one-shot them when they're on no defense terrain. I forgot about that. He made a medium tank. Not that it's really going to do much. But yeah, I like the way Green Earth medium tanks look as well. See, they are visually distinct from regular tanks. It's really only Orange Star and Blue Moon that have that problem with the new art style. Like, you can clearly tell the difference between a Green Earth medium tank and a Green Earth tank. And that's going to be the same for the 4th faction we encounter as well. But, okay then, yeah. So this is where I'm going to go for Hyper Repair.
I'm all ripped up.
Because this extra defense may make my Transport Copter survive the tank.
Hyper repair.
But I either do... Yeah, see, anti-air don't actually one-shot bombers by default, but missiles do. And this is with Eagle's 10% defense on air units, by the way. So normally that would be over 100% damage on a bomber with a missile. I'm surprised the artillery didn't die, but yeah, like, it is admittedly somewhat smart for Eagle to try and go for the anti-air first, but also, I had other anti-air, and, yeah. Okay, so I will need 2 more turns on top of this, and I don't really trust the Transport Copter to last that much longer. Let's give the medium tank some action. My anti-air have already done enough in this mission. If this was Days of Ruin, my anti-air would definitely be upgraded to, it's annoying how there are, 2 different translations for Days of Ruin, so it's hard to get the terminology straight, but my anti-air would definitely be upgraded to either Vet or Ace status. I know it is Ace because I have the European version, but yeah, in Days of Ruin, units actually... in fact, I think that was the case in in Super Famicom Wars as well, that units would actually level up if they killed enemies. It was kind of an incentive to stop you from just sacrificing your troops as walls and instead keep them alive. But there were cases where, I wouldn't really say there were cases where it could be exploited. It was just, you tended not to see that mechanic, like, hugely mattering, but sometimes the ones that were likely to one-shot, like fighters and anti-air, if they killed a lot of copters and stuff, they'd often get upgraded to veteran rank. So yeah, here is the million-dollar question. Do I have enough defense to tank? I didn't. Okay. That is actually going to delay this by a few more turns, which is hugely problematic. So unfortunately, you can only transport infantry with, only transport foot soldiers with copters, so I can't, like, take another thing over there. In fact, I probably should have waited to use Hyper Repair until now. I mean, it's probably, in the grand scheme of things, not going to matter that much. But yeah. So yeah, important thing to note about Eagle is that Lightning Drive works on tanks just as well as it works on air units. And so it's not just air units you have to worry about with him. And also, Lightning Drive can also let his artillery move into position and then shoot in the same turn. So Eagle's not bad with indirects either. He's more versatile than you might think. I said that medium tank wasn't going to be a problem, but it may actually get to do something. So, after this mission, we will have seen every faction that we'll be encountering for a while, so I think after this one, I'm going to turn off the capture animation. We've already seen enough of the unique ones, and I'll turn it back on once we see another unique faction, which won't be for a while. So yeah, but this is something I didn't used to turn off the capture animation, but I kind of, often do now. It just makes things a little bit more streamlined. Yeah, didn't want that transport to get one-shotted. I wonder if that was a damage roll. I mean, transports are pretty vulnerable to tank machine guns anyway. He is going on a city, which is good. And he's also, ironically, built himself an anti-air. But this should... Yeah, that's going to be exactly enough to destroy this. So that means that I only need to worry about And yeah, you can actually see the banners with the faction's logo if the city is under that control. Though I do believe that, although that actually might be true in this game too, because we're technically still in Orange Star territory. In Advance Wars 2, every faction's cities like looked different, which was actually pretty cool. But see, at this point, I kind of just want to make sure that I don't lose anything. Oh, wait, no, I should be attacking from the forest, because nothing else can get me up there. I normally don't like attacking medium tanks on cities. But yeah, like, if you see the HQ that Eagle has, it has, like, a very castle-like aesthetic to it. It's generally agreed that Green Earth is based on Europe, Orange Star is based on America, and Blue Moon is something that I probably shouldn't say, given current, as of recording this, real-world conditions. But yeah, with Blue Moon's HQ, it is somewhat obvious, as well as Olaf's design. But yeah, like, in terms of Green Earth, people say that Eagle... I could have just given him Lightning... Oh, didn't give him Lightning Drive, that's good. So in that case, I actually really don't want to hit that missile, because that may get him close to Lightning Drive. In fact, something that I haven't explained yet, and now is the perfect time to, every time you use your power, it gets 20% more expensive to use again. So, it will actually take Eagle longer to charge up Lightning Drive for a second time. That is something important to note. The longer a match goes on for, you get diminishing returns on your power meter. This is still not going to give him Lightning Drive. I just really don't want to get him to get a second Lightning Drive and potentially wreck me. I don't think that medium tank will kill anything. But yeah, I've built things out of all my bases. I win next turn. Hopefully that's enough for a good speed score. It is less than 10 days. Undeterred, huh? Well, you're not really doing so well right now. Your HQ's about to go. But yeah, those are the Green Earth banners. But yeah, the reason why people say, like, Europe rather than just, like, England is because Eagle is generally agreed to represent Germany, and then the other commanders we'll be seeing from Green Earth later represent different European countries. So, again, doing my whole technique inflation... And I'm not gonna even bother. Let's just finish this. The castle is mine!
I lost? Darn it. Don't play dumb with me.
Huh?
Adding this in post because I now know that Eagle is voiced by Sungwon Cho. And so I'm going to hear King Dragon lines every time he uses his power. Yeah, what is that guy's problem? We may find out later.
Who was that guy? At least he got my name right.
I like how the victory screen quotes are fully voiced in this version. Yeah, I was a little low on speed, but which is kind of a bit of an embarrassment when fighting Eagle, because he's kind of all about fast air tactics, but still. Yeah, if that transport had survived, I probably wouldn't have lost speed there, so maybe, I think I had Hyper Repair up. I think that was a luck roll. I'd need to bring up, like, the damage chart for tank versus transport copter, but I'm guessing that was a luck roll. But anyway, with Eagle defeated, I will see you all next time for something I'm actually not too sure about, because it's the first route split in the original game, and I'm not sure how those are going to be handled with the new campaign map. So, I will see you all then, where, depending on how I handle it, we may be meeting a new character who's on our side this time.